Hello, testing. Mic checking. Seems good. Windows is in order. So I will be switching this over now. Hello, Rebel Star. Just saw your comment. How are you doing tonight? Let's see. Yep, looks good to me. Looks messy. Check, make sure my head doesn't go in there. Yeah, I think we're good. Good, glad you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Got a lot of stuff done today too, so I'm happy about that. Also watched the Loki finale, so I won't be talking about it, but I'm like riding on the crazy high of that, so very excited and chatty today. So, hello everybody. Welcome to another Plum Workshop night of garage kit building and hanging out. Tonight we will be working on a bunch of stuff again. Gotta think about what we went through. Hello Hololai, how are you doing? Well, I guess as a recap, what did we do last time? We did a whole bunch of sanding, I believe. We did some minor magnetizing at the end, so we got it so this piece sticks. And I think that was pretty much it. We also went ahead and we bondoed the tips of these, so for hair tips need a whole lot of sanding work, and that's what we're gonna start at today, because when we magnetize these hair pieces, I want all of this putty gone. I don't want to be touching it. I want to make sure we have a smooth surface to work with. So we will be sanding first, and then I'm hoping to get, you know, most of the rest of the pinning done tonight. And there will be some bigger putty work involved, mainly because we'll need to connect her hair pieces. I'm still not entirely sure how those are gonna come together. I'll need to figure it out once all this putty's gone. I think it was like this, or maybe it was the other one, I don't know. So I might have to pull out the reference sheet too. But in any case, we'll get like her head installed. Oh, we also need to get her arms pinned in with magnets. So there's a bunch of random work to do tonight. But for now, we're just gonna start out with hanging out and getting this Bondo off of these hair pieces. So I'm going to, put this away on the side and bring these over. I did start sanding this before the stream while I was kind of waiting for my laptop. Sorry guys for being stream starting a little bit later. Not too much later. But I had a full Windows update I didn't account for, and so that's why we're running a little bit late. Your eyes are dilated, so you're trying to take it easy. Oh yeah, turn the brightness down on your monitors, and yeah, try not to stare for too long, because it's always interesting when your eyes are dilated and how sensitive they actually get. Was it just part of an eye exam that you had to take? That's why they're dilated? It's been a while since my eyes have been dilated. Alright, we're gonna be just getting all of this red stuff off for now. So, all the Bondo we put on. Nice. That's good. Hopefully it was just like an annual or something and not, you know, you having to have it be done because there was an issue. It's always good to have your eyes checked on for healthy purpose. Let me also see if I can move some of this stuff around. And I don't think, yeah, I'm already at max zoom in here, so. Let's see, if I move these this way, will it focus on here? Yeah, it's pretty good. I feel like my laptop is at a weirder angle this time, so I'm gonna try to position it so I can read you guys' comments a little easier. That, or let me actually open it up on my phone. No problems, just the standard exam. That's good. That is very good. Just looking for the live chat on my phone right now, so don't mind me, guys. Okay, if somebody types something, I'll have to see if it will show up on my phone. But yeah, I hope you guys are all having a good week so far. Still pretty hot, the middle of summer, so fun times with that. I haven't even wanted to go outside because the humidity's just been so terrible. Okay, let me grab my cup as well. I have a cup full of thinner stuff, so that way I can wipe off some of this bare red. There we go. A little bit here too. There we go. So I'll have to compare this arm to the other arm. But from what I can tell, it doesn't look like it's quite as bad. I feel like there were way worse micro bubbles and holes on the other arm. Let's see. Not been too bad here. Summer hasn't happened. It's like the middle of July. How has summer not happened? In that case, I consider you pretty lucky you're not dealing with it yet. You get a late summer typically? Interesting. Alright, there's some red here that I need to rub off, but I'm not sure how not coming off. Weird. Not really sure what's going on there. Let me get a 400 grit. Oh, there we go. Oh, I see. There's like a little bubble here, but some putty was just pretty resilient and sticking around that area. Been unreasonably cold, or unseasonably cold and rainy. It was quite sunny today. Nowhere near as crazy hot in the US. Yeah, well that's nice at least, you know, that you get in some rain and stuff. But then again, if you don't like that type of weather, then it's kind of meh. And all I know really from the UK is that it's generally pretty cloudy and rainy up there all the time. So that's one place I haven't been, so I can't say whether or not that's true. Yeah, okay. Like kind of a love it or hate it. So like I grew up with tons of sun, so I don't know how I'd handle it just being 24/7 like that. Although where I'm at now, it's pretty similar in terms of it being cold or rainy or just a lot of cloud cover, so I miss the sun. Alright, this piece I think is pretty much good. I did do a bunch of sanding on it before, which is why, you know, it didn't take that long. But let me get out the other piece and then we can compare it and see. Because I do believe, yeah, that piece was a lot worse, especially in the front. That seam line was pretty rough. I think what the deal was on this part was there was a seam line misalignment, and so I filled all of that in with Tamiya light curing putty. But this one, there wasn't that. It was just a bunch of holes. So we will still probably have to do some minor stuff with it, but for now I think that's good. Okay, so I'll set these aside for now, and let's get this other small piece out of the way. This one was that one I wasn't sure if there were any holes in it, but I puttied it just in case. And last time we did the just in case, we ended up finding a bunch of stuff, so. Kind of brushing this small stuff off. Don't want to sand too much on here because this is a delicate piece, and I'm kind of holding it, the bangs in the front, and just kind of so it's sitting onto my finger, almost like my finger has hair. So I should like draw a smiley or something, but I don't have a Sharpie with me. But in any case, I'm not really holding it on these ends just because I'm a little concerned about the fragility of the piece. With hair pieces, I try to be a little more gentle. Nothing worse than breaking off like a hair tip and then having to putty that down and smooth it out or fill it in, etc. It's always kind of annoying, so try to keep hair as intact as possible. Just rubbing off the Bondo on this side, the leftover junk. So far so good. There are a few tiny little bits. Not really even worth taking a photo or bringing it up close for you guys to see it, but just the really small stuff that's left over from this seam line that didn't match up. Oops, dropped the piece. There we go. Just fell in my lap, so. Okay. And we'll just wipe off the rest of this Bondo on the back. I don't really care about that stuff, so. And just a quick swipe. That was nice and easy. There were a few little thingies it filled in though. So it wasn't, all for naught. Don't think I'm gonna go along the sides of the other hairband or the hair pieces, so. Come on, camera. So I only really went along the side here and the side here with the Bondo. I didn't go in between the hair strands, and I'm not really intending to do that. So at this point, this piece is pretty much sanded too. And this piece, as I pull it back, will probably just be glued on. As you can see, there's these little nubs that fit in, whoops, as I drop it again, into her hair here. I think I've pointed that out before, but they just snap in here. So once, she's all set and glued, I don't really need to do much. Okay, so let's move on to these. These are the scary, potentially time-consuming pieces. We have 4 of these to work through, so let me see if I can move my camera back just a little bit, because I'm pulling myself forward. Okay, maybe that will work better. I feel like I'm going towards the bottom of my screen. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, that's better for me, because I'm like here, so this is a little bit better. Anyway, yeah, we have 4 of these hair pieces to go through, and one of them in particular had a lot of little bubbles, so I'm just doing this on the rest of them too, because I did see them. They just shine under random light where you know they're there, but not really starting in any particular area, just wanting to get them banded down. I'll probably replace this soon actually, or I'll just cut it. Usually I use kind of a smaller sandpaper size. There we go. Luckily, because it is a triangle, it's pretty easy to just kind of work on either plane and then continue along the hair strand. It's not like a super rounded piece, but that doesn't mean we need to be careful when we're sanding it, because I don't want to change the shape that much more. Throw away this. couple scratches here and there filling in, but so far nothing too crazy, which is good. Your pieces especially can get time consuming to fix. Let's see, I think I need to pull some more 800. Yep. I need to cut some more soon. I'm almost out of strips. That's much better. I did kind of slather it on Monday, so now that it's all flattened down, it's interesting to see where this putty actually settled. Well, hopefully I'm not blocking it now that you guys can see the tip of my head. Just realized I'm like leaning in. Might have to pull the camera back up then. Okay, wipe some of this minor dust away as we're working down the piece. I'm not really seeing any holes here though. Maybe they were all on the inner side. Okay, good. Yeah, if you can see things, if it looks like mostly centered, then I think we're okay. Okay. Piece I want to kind of hold slightly differently here. I really don't want to be bending this hair tendril down. There we go. I just want to sand this stuff off. Okay. There we go. So few more dots here, and I need to use my fine one for this. Oops, can't get a grip. I think I need to switch this out actually. Let me cut another thin, stretchy 800. That other one, I was starting to see cracks in it and it just wasn't smooth, or it was too smooth, so I couldn't even feel the grits anymore. I'm going to take my time a little bit longer with the inside here, just to make sure that I'm able to buff everything out. Oh, now I'm starting to see a little bit. Few minor areas filling in. There we go. To grab. A little slippery. There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. Definitely put this layer on pretty thick. Switch it up a little bit. Oh, there we go. Some holes there too. I do think that this kit is moving along a lot quicker than the made kit in terms of like time invested and stream number, because this is only like the 6th stream or something, and we're pretty much already will be to a point, I'm hoping by the end of tonight, where most things are sanded and magnetized and pinned, so like only the big stuff remains. Felt like there was a lot more hours invested in the made one, but that's also I think because a majority of the time I was talking about techniques, whereas this time it's just like, yeah, we're doing it, so that will be good. We'll be able to finish more kits in lesser time. But as always, if you guys have questions or are curious about techniques or a product you've seen, just comment and we can chat about it too. This is also your time to ask a builder questions and such. Is this one fewer pieces than the made? I think they're pretty comparable. How many pieces do the made have? I recall her having like 11 or 12, and this one might have a few more, but a lot of them will be like combined. So we'll just have 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, there's a few more pieces in this kit, but it doesn't really make it too much of a difference. And this kit is not too much more complicated than the made. I would still say that this is probably a similar difficulty range as the made kit, just because it has all of these air bubbles, and there are a couple of sculpting issues that we'll have to do slightly more advanced techniques on, like the combining pieces together, like these hair tendrils. She's not like ready out of the box. But the made kit had all that deal with the parts not fitting, some of the pieces not fitting, and the double face plates, which added on a lot of time too. So, and all of the accessories, she came with the extra bow head and stuff as well. This kit doesn't have any of that, just one head, and that's it. So, although this kit is interesting because, as you may or may not have noticed, let's see if it will zoom. Come on, I have to hold it here. Why? There we go. Her hair is attached to her face, so this is something that can happen when you're working on kits. Some figures come with a sculpted head that you can, pull out, but other ones include hair on the face, and so what we will have to do is paint all of the skin tone first and then mask off all of the face and then spray the hair. So we'll have to go in with some fine masking tape, make sure, you know, all of that's all masked up behind the nape of her neck, you know, all along here. So this will be fun. We'll have to do masking tape and all that stuff here. Yeah, so that will take a little bit of time. And because of that, we will have to paint the skin tone first, but usually I work on like skin and hair first anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. How common are pinholes with newer kits? I'm not entirely sure. I can't give you a definitive. I do think that newer kits these days are made with better technology and, you know, better workshops, and so a lot of the time that I have these types of problems, it is with older kits, but it's also with the really indie sculptors, right? So the people that don't have their kits sent to a workshop. So even in, you know, these newer times, I'd say, like, depends on the age we're talking about, but that maid kit was made in like 2018, so she's relatively new. It's not only a couple years old, whereas this one's like 2014, and the quality's about the same. So you know, I've also had commissions that were also 2019, 2018, and they had lots of little pinholes, but they were also cast probably at home. So I think more, you know, than age, like age isn't an indicator, I would say, as much as like where it comes from. So yeah, you can really get all manner of kits. How many credits is Garage Kit Build 201? How much is it for a credit? Free of charge. Free of charge at twitch.tv/filmworkshop. No Patreon, no any of that involved, at least with my my works for now. Don't really see any need to. I'm just here to give you guys some knowledge on the hobby. But that is funny. What would 201 cover? Like 102, 101 and 102 would probably just cover the basics, such as, you know, sanding, basic paint types, regular tools, probably hand brushing. 201 would probably get into some of the stuff we're gonna do now, which is like the puttying pieces together and, you know, getting all that stuff good. Sometimes sculpting modifications if you need to, but this kit doesn't. Oh my god, I'm keep dropping them today. This kit doesn't really need any major sculpting corrections. We're not, you know, sculpting pieces, so that's good. Trying to get these really stubborn pieces of putty. Getting a little tricky because it's like the inside of her twin tail. Here, there we go. Maybe that will work better. And then sculpting kits will be a different class. That would be like its own sculpting class. I've not done any of that, so I would not be leading that class. There have been, I've heard, you know, of people taking workshops on kit building in the past, though. I haven't really seen it happen in the US, but I have seen some friends and acquaintances in Germany who, you know, a lot of them live kind of close to each other, and so they hold workshops and build kits and stuff, and I've always thought that was really cool. I wish I would be able to join something like that, where all this stuff is like the kit and all that stuff supplied. I assume it was somebody's like private batch of, you know, kit that they produced for this class, but or maybe 3D prints, but it just sounds really cool. Yeah, right? Like getting together with people who are interested in it. Almost like I don't know if they have these over in Europe, but in the US we have these stores where you basically just go in and paint stuff. So it's like a, you know, porcelain or clay store, and you can paint little characters or cups, and then they'll fire it in a kiln for you, and you can just pick it up. And that's kind of similar, but it's not a kit. But man, whenever I do those, I sit there for hours, like and hours and hours. And usually the art supplies are like not that great, so you get these like brushes that like a 5-year-old has been painting with. It's just like, oh my god, not great quality, but it's fun because you're hanging out with friends and stuff. All right, when I brushed this off, it got really weird, and so I'm gonna cut another. I think there was something wrong on this sponge. You think a sculptor who has created PVC protos would have better access to casting stuff? I'm not really sure about that. A lot of times, these sculptors are just contracted. So, like, for example, if a company likes a kit that's shown at a festival, generally they'll buy the rights to it. But then after that, the sculptor doesn't have those rights anymore, so they're not allowed to produce the figure anymore. For example, I think the sculptor's name is Kitutehu. Am I saying that right? I'm not sure. He sculpts a bunch of original characters, but a couple of them were picked up for PVC, and since then he's never been able to sell his own original characters of that character again. So I don't think that there's any, they wouldn't necessarily have better access to these workshops because they're just being subcontracted. But I do think that there must be some sort of specific workshop that people go to, like via Booth or something, or maybe Booth has it all set up and so it just goes to this dedicated workshop. Because a lot of the kits that I've gotten from Booth, they have a similar type of resin, and they have a similar, like, really well cast. They're all really well cast, a lot of the ones I got from Booth. And so the ones that, that do have issues like this are the ones that you're not buying via mail order. It's like through Wonder Festival or, secondhand market, so you're not sure what festival it came to. I have not encountered issues with stuff like this from my Booth models. It's very much like a at-home brew kind of situation here. So that actually makes me curious, like, if we order the made kit via Booth, because they were on sale for a brief time, would the quality of those maids be better than the ones that, like, I bought directly at the festival? Interesting, and maybe worth checking out someday. Alright, there's just like a couple of really small bits here I'm trying to work out. And then this piece is pretty much done. You can see it's mostly clear at this point. Well, clear of the redness. At this rate, though, I'm gonna have to start thinking about the next one after this monk that we're gonna build. At that point, I have no idea. I'll have to take a deep look in my collection. I have a list of stuff that I want to get done in 2021, so I'll try to pull it out if needed. Alright, I think this is pretty much good. I'm just gonna wipe this down real quick. And I can use this side actually. I'm gonna wipe this and then I will look and see what exactly I caught here in terms of defects. A little more here. Alright, I think this piece is pretty much good for now. It's definitely workable, so we can start, the pinning together portion of it. There was a bunch of stuff on the inside that it caught. Let me take a quick photo. Oops. Okay. So you can see it here. All of this inner junk is stuff that needed to be filled in. There's some up here as well, up on this end and at the end tip. Not really sure what's going on here. that stuff I couldn't sand down, and so I guess there was just this like scratch or nick in it, probably when I was like scraping it with an X-Acto knife. Um, so yeah, this piece was not one of the worst ones from what I can see here, but there are a couple of small pin pricks all along the edge. There's not too many, but it's good that it filled this in. Alright, we're gonna move on to the next one. I'm gonna do the easy ones first and leave these like crazy twirly ones aside for now. Okay, this one has a bunch on it too, so I guess I really just wanted to make sure that we had a thick enough layer. And get some of this off with the 400 first then. Oh yeah, that's a lot of putty. Maybe I'll start at this end and then work the other way. It's my airbrush. Forgot to turn it off. I will probably be using it later tonight though. Will not reach over and turn it off. My hands are feeling real clumsy tonight. I'm just kind of stumbling over all my supplies. Not great. It's bunk too. Oh, so see your comment, monkey. Let me get my Twitch back on my phone because I somehow turned it off when I took that photo. I don't like that practice. Is if you want a kitty or figure, you sell all right to it. That deters artists from either selling their stuff or making new stuff. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And from what I remember, like the sculptor was in particular, well, and a lot of them, I bet, are probably pretty sad that they're not able to sell the rights to it anymore, or at least get the rights to sell that kit anymore. A lot of times when that happens, it's just like the goal for a lot of artists when they're going to Wonder Festival, you know, is wanting to be noticed by a company, right? You want to end up working for these companies that you know, are dreaming about, that you're sculpting stuff. But, you know, once they buy up that right, you know, they have the copyright to do it and you don't. All you had was a one-day license. So, you know, that's also kind of a reason why a lot of these kits are so rare, especially ones that end up getting PVC, you know, because then you don't get a garage kit counterpart. Like they're legally not allowed to sell it anymore. There are exceptions to this, of course, when it involves companies, right? And so, for example, QuestQ is a company that produces both garage kit and PVC, and so they have the rights to sell both, and they do sell garage kit versions. So I'm just exclusively talking here about small-time artists. If an artist sells the rights to a sculpt, would they get royalty payments over time for volume of models sold? I'm actually not sure about that, Rebel Star. I do know people who are in this hobby who have talked to artists about these types of situations, so they might know, and I'll have to ask. I'm not 100% sure. I think, don't quote me on this, but from what I remember reading, it was kind of a bulk deal. Like they sell the rights to their sculpt for like $1,500 US or something like that. So like 150,000 yen or something. But then after that, that's it. That's all they get out of it. And so ideally, like, you know, when you're doing is you're sculpting and you want to sell your right to it and then keep producing more new sculpts, and then maybe you get hired onto a company, and that's the end goal here for a lot of artists. And yeah, a lot of artists that do produce garage kits still today also work part-time for these companies, and you know, sometimes they're just, their style is enjoyable, or maybe the company likes working with them or their style, and so that's why you end up seeing some of the names pop up over and over again. But even like the old Grizzly Panda stuff, like there's a couple Miku figures that Grizzly Panda made, and they have PVC versions now. They can't be sold again. I've never seen those kits sold at festival again. So for better or worse, you know, it can be good, right? Because if say you're a sculptor like Grizzly Panda and you're selling lots of kits all the time, would it be more, you know, beneficial for you to continue selling that and getting the license every time, or just get like a one-time payment and then lose the right to your work? So, and maybe that, you know, I'm sure there's a lot that goes into it. And there's probably sculptors who have like turned down their kits being turned into PVC too, because then they just lose the rights to it. So it's complicated, you know, when it comes to like an artist wanting to keep the rights to their sculpt, etc. But for the most part, I would assume, you know, a lot of sculptors want their stuff to get picked up, right? Because you're really, this hobby is actually, I dropped a piece again. Sculptors lose a lot of money when they are producing and selling in these small batches, and it's, a lot of them are not turning a profit, I can say that with confidence. There's a lot of fees involved in order to get the licensing, you know, intact, and to get your booth ready, not booth as in Pixiv booth, but your festival booth, you know, you have to rent the space and all of that. And so a lot of them are not making a huge profit, if anything, out of these festivals and these kits. So you gotta kind of respect where it comes from and try to, you know, support the artist when you can, because they're not pulling like a huge crazy income off of this. At least that's what I have noticed. There are always exceptions, of course. And now that licenses are more open and, you know, original characters are being produced. I've seen a lot more talk of original characters lately, because artists will get all of their profit from that. Like, they don't have to deal with any license restrictions. Just all of that OC money goes straight into their pocket. But then I wonder, because it gets into the line of what if you're making an OC but you based it off of someone else's illustration? Like, do you owe them royalties? That is where the line, I'm not really sure. Not sure where that goes at all. But yeah, I did a few trade shows trying to sell software, never ever turn a profit at the show. Yeah, it's so expensive, right? Yeah, there's the fees, there's the rental booth costs, there's like making sure you have enough promo material, like your little brochures or your business cards. There's, you know, the parking for the venue or the train fare, etc. So a lot of people have to fly in for these types of festivals, so then you have to pay for hotel and everything, and yeah, the costs they get very pricey very quickly. Not everybody lives, you know, right in the middle of Tokyo or in Chiba, and they can just take a short train ride over there. It's like a very, very good thing if you're able to turn a profit at your artist alley or your, you know, whatever convention you're selling at. Okay, there is so much putty on here. I really kind of went overboard, I swear. I'm trying to get all of this off, but man. Probably should have gone thinner on the putty for sure. But if we ever have the chance again, once Japan, you know, opens up and all of that, I do highly, highly recommend going to Wonder Festival. If you enjoy this hobby, it's probably like at least a once in a lifetime experience unless you have easy access to Japan. I had a fantastic time. Like, I was just riding a high the whole time I was there. It was so incredible. And it really doesn't put it into perspective how big these events are until you're actually there in person. Like, a lot of people know Wonder Festival as having the PVC, but PVC only takes up, you know, halls 1 through 3. So the way that this convention is set up, it's at Makuhari Messe, or at least, you know, it was in the past, not sure with Corona. And so it's reserved into like different giant rooms, basically. It's like the convention rooms, kind of like, they're just called halls, so they're giant halls. And so hall 1 through 3 is for PVC and regular manufacturers and all of that. But the rest of the halls, so halls 4 through 8, and then I think a portion that kind of turns into 9, it's been a while since I looked. Those are all garage kits and artists and private dealers. So it's not just, you know, garage kits, it's all sorts of things that are tied to anime and creativity. We've got, you know, lots of OCs, jewelry, I saw cups, I saw ball joint doll, you know, resin things. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And there's so much more that you don't see. Like, you see the popular stuff on Twitter and the things that people upload on MFC and all of that, but there's so much more than that. And it's just incredible. And even like speed walking the halls for like 5 hours, I felt like I barely saw anything. You really have like a minute to look at a booth and then move on to the next one and then just keep going. Maybe get some photos in between, but oh, it's crazy. And it's just so cool to see like everything that everyone has put out. And particularly, at least for me, was seeing these sculptors' paint jobs and seeing how they compared to the photos that you see online of these kits, because I look at a lot of kit photos online, but it's something entirely different to like go up and look at these up close, knowing, you know, what your own work looks like, and then compare and see kind of where you stand or how much more you have to learn. And some of these artists, they blew me away. Their work was absolutely incredible in real life. I exploded Rebel. It was crazy. It was so cool seeing everything and seeing all these kits in real life. It was just like mind-blowing. And so inspiring. I was like, well, now I have a lot more to work toward in terms of like my own paint jobs and seeing this stuff in real life. I would love to go again. Don't think I'll be making it out to Japan anytime soon at all, but I would go to another Wonder Festival in a heartbeat. I think from what I remember, Autumn Festival is still on, so should be in September, I think. Was it early September or late August? I forgot. That is scheduled. Wonder Festival is happening. Not online from what I can tell, I think. So that will be very interesting, since at this point, you know, foreigners are still not allowed into the country. This will be a very domestic Wonder Festival. I'm wondering how much of it, you know, stuff will pop up on aftermarket or what the deal is gonna be. Plus, you know, a lot of sculptors can sell their stuff at TFO now, so, you know, we'll see. I do feel like there's way more of a variety when it comes to Wonder Festivals. Like TFO, a lot of it's just kind of the same licenses that are approved, and people are just selling what they know what will sell. Oops. Okay, yeah, I had a feeling it was in September. Thank you for confirming. A little later than I thought. I thought it was like mid-September, but 20th is getting pretty late in that. And I haven't even kept up with like what the heck's happening to the Olympics. Last I heard, they just weren't allowing people, like regular viewers, to come in and watch, so I have no idea. I did read a really sad tweet that a person put out, and their parents were shop owners, and basically they were trying to their shop was trying to hold out until the Olympics for revenue because they have been on the verge of closing. But now that the Olympics is basically not going to allow any people to come in and watch, they went bankrupt. They just straight up went bankrupt. And that was really sad to read. It was like, you know, a daughter or a son of this family who'd been working really hard to try to keep business afloat, and it's just not happening. So I'm sure that's kind of an unpopular decision to not allow people into Japan and to view the Olympics and stuff, because a lot of companies and businesses were kind of relying on that. And oh my god, they did so much work on roads and repairing and changing sidewalks and everything in order, you know, to account for the foot traffic. And now it's just not going to happen. Even when I visited, and you know, a couple of years ago, and they were gearing up for Olympics, and there were entire walk areas and sidewalks closed off so they could build new ones specifically for the Olympics. We found a couple of videos on YouTube. Oh, of Wonder Festival. Yeah, it's incredible. Like walking those halls, and it's just an endless amount of stuff to see. Also, the halls are just so quiet. Like everything in Japan is pretty quiet, but when you think of like a convention, generally, like I think of it being pretty loud. You know, I've been to anime cons, I've been to gaming cons, but the Japanese conventions are so polite and quiet. All you, like when I walked in, all you heard was like feet shuffling around. Like people are not talking, they're focused on getting their kits. It was really interesting, like the difference between a Japanese convention and regular, typical, at least American convention. That was probably one of the most shocking things to me, was how quiet and well-mannered everybody was walking around. The festival itself, like in the rules, they very specifically tell you not to jog or run or, you know, be rowdy to get to your kits. And so when you see people dashing around like that, it's generally really frowned upon. And at least from my standpoint and some of my friends, you know, who have gone, the people who are doing that are not there because they're enjoying kits, right? They're there because they want to get these kits and scoop them up and resell them. So that kind of behavior and like the quick running around and stuff, if you go there, don't do that. You don't want to be viewed as like a reseller or anything like that. It's not nice behavior. And I sped walk, but didn't, like, you know, do any of the rude stuff, and I got pretty much everything that I wanted. So don't assume you need to run around the festival, but you will have to plan your route. So when you go, and actually I wonder, let me see if my bookshelf has my book. 1 second. I found it. So in order to get into Wonder Festival, you need to purchase the guidebook. So basically that's like your ticket fee. And so here's the proof that I went to Wonder Festival in 2019. You can see Wonder Festival 2019. Let me zoom out a little bit. Oops, there we go. So yeah, this is the guidebook. You can see they give you like the Wonder Girl of the Year, so this is Wanda-chan. There's a specific figure that comes out every year, and so for 2019 this was the figure that came out, and so you can buy this one at the festival. Sorry if it's not zooming in. Yeah, this book is super cool. I decided to keep it. So here's the map guide for scale. This is the hallway guide, and all of this page here, these are the booths. So this is all garage kits. This is not PVC. This is all the garage kits. PVC is on the other side. So this is all of the PVC. It only makes up halls 1 through 3, but every single one of these numbers is a different booth. So this is a different sculptor at every single one of these, and it is this large. So, and then over here, this is what I was talking about. This is the not safe for work, like this area, and you are gate locked here, and here you have to show ID to get in, and so then you can walk around. And then there's also, you know, sculptors along the sides here too. So there's a couple here and all around. So yeah, it's no small feat. It's a very, and this is like the walkway in between. So this is the gap between the halls. So there's no booths here. This is like a food venue or like, you know, a vending machine or something. And sometimes there's toilets, you know. So yeah, it says exit and exit. But yeah, and then here's the like things to do. You know, you want to be walking, you don't want to be running like a crazy person. Here's some of the old Wonderfest or Wondachans. Let's see. I think this is all, yeah, they have a whole bunch of articles in here about, you know, things that they're offering. This is Wonder Showcase. So every year Wonder Festival has a committee and they choose a couple of sculptors with specific works that win the Wonder Showcase award. And so this year, you know, it's usually 2 or 3 people that win. I didn't know Inori-sama was male. It's interesting. Yeah, they give them like a biography and then you kind of go into it. Here's some, you know, backstory on the Wanda-chan of the year. This one was 3D printed and 3D modeled. Or maybe it was resin cast, but I don't know. But yeah, they're limited, so this one was, there are only 200 copies of this Wanda-chan were made, and they sold for 9,800 yen. So there's a lot of pictures in here, so I don't read a lot of Japanese, but I can pick up enough from photos. More, here's about Wonfest Shanghai. So Shanghai was after, maybe it was before this, I don't remember. And then this was a 2018 review. Sorry, I just kind of divulged, but I'm getting nostalgic now, so I'm gonna look through this real quick. It's not too long, there's a lot of stuff in the front, but then it just gets into like the sculptors. Oh, here we go. So here's like stuff to do, or not to do, I think. I'm reading it, sorry. I think this was like be nice in line, ask to take photos, don't run. So I think this was the don't run part. Don't be an asshole and push people out of the way. Like, don't be a scalper. Oh yeah, so there's like lots and lots of little comics and stuff here. Some of this I think is also for the people who are, yeah, this is like for the vendors too. So like, don't be rude if you're a vendor and be an asshole. Like, be respectful, engage with your customer base probably. Anyway, so yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff in the beginning, and then after that it just gets kind of into like the very nitty-gritty, and so this tells what every sculptor is at, and some of it's what they're selling that year. So like for this, for example, you can see this sculptor was selling Fate Grand Order kits, and they'll list what they're selling, so you'd have to like go through. And yeah, riddled with ads with all the big ones. These are all their sculptor like illustrations, so what they're selling, they list what they're selling typically in their booth name, etc. So there's a visual guide as well if you're looking for someone specific, but you can see it just goes on and on and on because there's so many people at these festivals. You know, some of them are selling the not safe for work stuff, some of them are selling rando stuff, you know, all sorts of crazy things. And so not often you get to look through these books. This was the first time I'd ever seen a guidebook, and so I thought it was super cool and I wanted to keep it for sure. You know, a lot of new PVC releases are generally like put in here too. So Sega, you know, cosplayers are also kind of in here. You don't see a lot of them. Weird dolls, you know, they got everything. So yeah, that's pretty much what the book looks like. But the big thing that you want to make sure of is that you are looking at your hauls and marking what you want. So if you want stuff that's like close together, it's easier to get like this group of stuff rather than like go all the way over here and do it. So when you get these books, a lot of people the night before or week before, they'll go through it and mark, you know, what they want, and then see if you can get it in along the way. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's you know, what these books look like. They're pretty hefty too, so make sure that, you know, you have a backpack or something that you're carrying it around with. Yeah, it's interesting that the tickets is the book. Yeah, and you can buy it at the door, but it's generally recommended that you purchase it beforehand, because that way you have a chance to, you know, go through it and make sure the sculptures are in the area that you want, etc. You can buy the book at certain convenience stores, and bookstores have it too, so it's not like you have to go through a specific, you know, location to get the book. Like my friend picked them up at a supermarket or something beforehand, and then I met her like the night before and we went through it, and then the next morning you get there, and you generally want to get there pretty early. The venue and the booth itself, like the convention hall, doesn't open until 10, I think 10:30. Depends when, if you have like a preview pass or not, because some people have a pass that lets them get in a little earlier. But in general, it's like either 10 or 10:30, but we were out there lined up around 7, and we got in pretty quickly. So I would say getting there like 6:30 or 7 in the morning is pretty recommended. Beyond that, it fills up really quickly, and the line gets pretty crazy. So at least when we went, we got there at 7, and we were inside in less than 10 minutes. And so I was able to get most of the stuff that I wanted, because a lot of those kits will sell out within half an hour, sometimes way less than that. So if there's something you really, really want, make sure that you get there earlier rather than later. And it is, I think, generally recommended that the artists stay the whole time, even if their stuff sells out. And so a lot of kits were sold out, you know, like halfway through the day, but the artists were still there, because then they can like mingle with people, and people could ask them questions, etc. Let's see, do you think you're ever going to work on any Wanda or Reset kits? No, probably. I don't think I have any of them in my closet for now. I do really like the design of a lot of them, but I just haven't really had one that I truly loved. And I did actually like the little chainsaw one, but it was also really, it sold out so quickly that I didn't have a chance to get it. And I think that one ended up being lottery or something, from what I remember one of my friends saying. And so it was even like less of a chance that you'd get it for whatever reason. And so I just didn't bother with the Chainsaw Girl Wanda-chan that year, which is unfortunate. But if I ever see, you know, a pair of them for the right price, I might pick them up. There was one recently, I liked the design of them, but generally they're not on my radar. I really wanted this Wanda-chan, the chainsaw one, because it's like you go to the festival and then, you know, you have a memento of it, but just didn't have the chance. There was also a PVC version that they sold too. Maybe the PVC was the limited to 200 one. Not 100% sure. Anyway, some of the Wanda-chans are like pretty easy to find on the aftermarket. It was this chainsaw one in particular. I think it was because it was lottery or something that she's a little slightly harder to find. You can still find her generally around retail price though, sometimes on secondhand market. But it's so cool that they have like their own mascot, and those Wanda Reset Chans go back very far, you know. There's been a lot of Wonder Festivals, and they've been around a long time. You've been looking for the Devil and Angel kits. The PVC one was a limited version. Yeah, that makes sense. I do remember the PVC one was like pretty hard to get too, so that would make sense. I do like the Devil and Angel ones. Those ones are pretty cute. I like how they change with the times too. So like, you know, some of the older Wandas and resets. Oops, I just spilled something. They look old, but the style like works with them, and so they're universally like pretty cool. And it'd be cool to like collect Wandas throughout the year and reset Chans and then have a whole collection of them. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that brief look through a festival book. That's something that I haven't really seen too often, and again, I don't really look. And so it was really fun when I was able to flip through it. And flipping through that one again is like really fun too. Okay, I am trying. We're almost done with this piece. I got distracted again, but I can't get this off. There we go. I have to angle this sandpaper a very specific way, or else this Bondo is not coming off. Wipe this one off. Yeah, no problem. Happy to show you guys. We were talking about festival anyway, so might as well show proof that I actually went. Not just me making it up. I spent so much money at that convention though. I knew I would, and so I took out so many yen, so much yen. Spent pretty much everything that I had expected I was gonna spend, but got a lot of really nice kits, which I've been working through, and most of them this year. Like that maid kit that was bought right at the festival. Okay, I think this piece is pretty much done. Let me give it a look through again. Oh, there's a little bit here. Okay. A lot of really small stuff, but it's in like weird spaces. So I am kind of glad that I just puttied all over this. There's definitely some that I did not expect in these areas. I'd have been bankrupt after the first row of booths. Yeah, I would say keep a close eye on Twitter. Let me grab another paper towel. Keep a close eye on Twitter. Make sure to try to, know what you're going to be getting ahead of time, because you're also going to be finding impulse buy stuff for sure. Like I had a set budget and a set, number of kits and the kits that I really wanted, and then I also budgeted for some wiggle room, which like that Colaton kit I painted that's going to be cycling through, that one was a complete impulse buy. I bought that one also at the festival, but I had no idea I was going to buy it, and so there's tons and tons and tons of stuff that you probably won't see via Twitter, etc. And so if you see something that catches your eye, I mean, spend, but spend like kind of responsibly. You probably won't ever get the chance to get it again if you miss out and don't pick it up. Hi Mr. Frike, how are you doing tonight? We had kind of an off tangent because I was reminiscing about going to Wonder Festival and showed off my Wonder Festival booklet. And right now we are still sanding. We're working on Bondo. And it is going slow, isn't it, guys? I just took a look at the clock. Also, I started a tiny bit later. Let me grab another. So many random nubs I'm working through at this point. And I would stay up later and show you guys more of this tonight, but I have a 10 p.m. deadline tonight. So try to get as much as we can done. Unfortunately, might push off some of this stuff though. When is the next festival? Next Wonder Festival is September 20th, thanks to Rebel Star looking it up. I knew it was in September, but I wasn't sure the day. I think the next TFO is before that, though. I believe that one is in August, but it's been a minute or two since I checked, so. I think that one is still online, but the new Wonder Festival in autumn is not online, so. Lots of opportunities coming up for purchasing kits. At the very least tonight, I want to get that head pinned so I have something to look at and she's not headless the whole time. So even if it has putty on it, we can still put the head on. Pinning takes a lot less time than magnetizing just because you don't have the glue factor involved. So you really just need to drill 2 holes and then stick the pin in, and that's pretty much it. Is what I wanted to do on these hair pieces too, but turns out they're full of pinholes, so not sure if you guys can see. There's like a lot of junk here all along. There's these small nicks and stuff, so 10 p.m. deadline for streamer for work. No, yeah, 10 p.m. EST, so we have about 40 minutes left for this stream. And yeah, if I had work due at 10, I'd be like, uh-oh, well, bummer there. But yeah, I've got some stuff to do after the end of this stream, and so I will have to cut it off after that. Usually we go a little bit longer just because I like hanging out and finishing up some stuff, but we will have to see. Yeah, sorry if I was confusing too. I kind of just like start ranting. There's just so much dust and putty here. Oh my goodness. You're good. Thank you for looking out for me though. I do appreciate it. This time I have right now is for you all though. So I am happy to be here and work on this personal stuff. That's always something fun I enjoy doing. I am quite excited to see what this kit looks like once she's all pinned together. It's been a long time since I had this kit, and I've been wanting to see her built for a long time, so. I don't know where I'm gonna put her in my shelf though. I guess I have my video game shelf stuff. She technically fits in there. I don't have a spicy monk chibi fighting section of my paint area and detox. A lot of nicks over here. So this was one of the bad pieces in terms of the damage on this kit. There's a lot of small holes and other tiny scratches and stuff that I have been filling in. So I'm gonna try to avoid using the 400 grit and just focus on this 800. But I might need to switch it out again soon too. Where's my paper as well? I'm also running pretty low on my little nubs I cut, so probably have to cut some more. Oh wow, a lot of damage here. This is what I kind of expected on the end tips, since the seam line ran along all of these, but this area is smaller than the rest of the hair, so makes it look like there's a lot. Let's see. Yeah, it's great once you get a kit pin. It starts looking like a real figure instead of a bunch of resin. Yeah, that's that's what I like about it, right? Because you look at this and you're just like, well, this is something. This is a piece. And then, you know, once you get all of it together, it's like, oh my god, you know, that's what it's gonna look like sitting on my shelf. One of the best parts, besides all the starting to painting and seeing everything, the getting it all assembled and the final look of it, that's one of my favorites. I'll wipe off a little bit of this so I have a better idea of what I'm looking at here. Yeah, there's definitely been times where I've gotten a kit pinned and I'm just like, well, I wish I could stop here. I wish that that was it, you know? Kit's done now. Because then that, you know, you got it and it's all sitting there. Okay, I need to get some more 800 grit, so let me pull out of here real quick and go around to my shelf. Should be just right over here. So I left it in a good spot. Let's see, 400. Yeah, over here. Okay. And let me pull out my 800 as well. Or the fabric-y one. Good news, after a week, Zen Market has put your kits in a box. Yay! Congrats! I'm excited for you, and hopefully they will arrive quickly then, if you get them mailed out. Hopefully you have option for DHL or EMS or something speedy. FedEx is pretty quick. Once they get shipped, you know, out, FedEx can be pretty quick, so I've had good experience with them. Pricey, depending on your region, but they are good. I had Neokyo, I think is the other proxy that I used, and they shipped my stuff through FedEx, and it arrived after like 3 days, so that was a really good situation. FedEx was the cheapest. Yeah, you probably will have a good experience then. At least I hope you will. They can, like FedEx over here in the States can be kind of rough, and they just throw packages around sometimes, but I think it really depends on your area. So I haven't ever had an issue with them. I may have to adjust my expectations here and just try to get all of the Bondo on this hair pieces done. But then, I wanted to show you guys like the putty stuff. Don't want to put that off. Tough. Monday might be a weird day because I'm not sure if I have 2 hours worth of like prep work putty stuff to fill out. So if I put off the putty like gap filling stuff, which I want to show you guys until then, I may have to supplement with something else, like another rando kit from my closet, just because I want to fill up that 2 hour time span. Because what's going to happen now is we'll get all these pieces pinned together and kind of ready to go, and then we'll just need to switch over to primer after that, our first round of primer. But if I do all the putty work on Monday, we can't primer everything, and I want to do all of that together, so we will have to wait and see. You have a figure coming in from EMS and it's stuck in customs. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that, Quiliana. Yeah, customs can be so like hit and miss, and sometimes just take forever. That's the worst. I hope you get it soon. This is a bummer. putty. You guys gotta show me when you get your new loots. I'm excited. Take a photo or something. Always like hearing people get new loots. It's always fun to see. What? I got a phone call? Damn. That's the first on this stream. Been getting a lot of spam calls here in the States. It's kind of a thing that happens now if you have a phone and you live in the US, and you can tell they're spam because they're all spoofs of like your zip code, and so my zip code is totally different than where I live now, and I move kind of around a lot, but I get them all the time with my same zip code and then usually some similar variant to my regular phone number. So oh, it's just such a bummer. I block them over and over and over, and it just never ends. Oh yeah, you guys all have to deal with the import taxes too. That's also, this is an expensive hobby, right? Because you gotta account for all of that, and then the cost of the kit and everything else. It adds up so quick. Over here in the US, our customs pretty lax unless you go over a large amount. You've been getting way more spam calls recently too. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. It's been ongoing for me since like beginning of coronavirus, and it's to the point where I get like 2 or 3 a day. And thankfully, like, I have the ability to block numbers, and so sometimes it's just like the same ones that they, you know, spoof and send out, and so it auto rejects them. But a lot of times it's new numbers, so just so annoying. And it's at random times too, so like sometimes it's just in like the super morning, and then other times it's really late at night. Like over here it's 9:30 p.m. And why would the spam be calling me now? Ridiculous. Okay, there's an area here I'm trying to sand, and having a little bit of an issue, so let me come at it from another angle. And actually 400 will probably work. There we go. Can hear me sanding it, maybe. Okay, not sure how much more I can get there. I might putty over, or not putty, prime over that and see how it looks later. This I can get though. It did say when we were bondoing this, and just kind of when I've been looking at it, it had a fair number of textural issues as well. So some of that red stuff that it's just kind of filling in over here, that's that textural stuff I was talking about. Just weird misalignments in the sculpt and stuff. You were up around 3 or 4 a.m. and you got one. Oh man, that's horrible. I think the earliest one I got was like at 6 in the morning, if I had accounted for my time zone time. And so that's like already the crack of dawn. Like I would be so pissed if I get called at 6 in the morning. And yeah, what's the deal? If they're sending them at 3 a.m., Like, isn't there a law against that? Like, they're not allowed to call after certain hours because that's just harmful. I feel like I read that before. So much. Shift my position a little bit, try to get a better position on here, an angle. Go. Okay, this one is not going to be fun times. Let's see if I can thread this through here. Go. Not sure if that's gonna work. Yeah, I'm afraid that I might ruin the curvature of that area. Right now I'm just standing in this weird crevice that captured a lot of Bondo, but it is an important one because there's a seam line that kind of went over and across, and so once I am done sanding this, I'll take a photo and show you guys. I am definitely doing this for a reason, all I mean to say. Otherwise I would not have lathered on all of this putty. My dehumidifier. Could have been some night owl who misstyled a friend. Yeah, it can vary, I guess. Good that, you know, you didn't answer it because you might have been cursed, right? Or if you did, I'm sorry, you're cursed. But, you know, I am a millennial. I do not answer phones. I do not answer it even if I know the number, unless it's my mother or my father. I will get back to you via text. I'm just not a big phone talker at all. I hate using the phone. There we go. Got a good angle on this, so I'm just going to smooth all this down while I can. A lot of scratches. I really messed this area up when I was sanding it. Have a good night, Rebel Star. I hope to see you on Monday. That should be the next one. I don't think I have anything going on, so next Monday. Looks like this will just be a sanding night again. But this should be the last sanding night that we need to do for a while. Because from here on out, we'll just be focusing on priming and fixing the smaller stuff. So all of this initial prep is always what takes the longest. You didn't pick up, you got pissed off. Yep, that's relatable. You were smart, now you're not cursed. Oh man, I really leaned in there, sorry guys. Okay. I'm trying to like see all this putty. Almost done. This was definitely the worth it piece. The other ones needed, but not as satisfactory. There's also a little bit of Bondo here, but I just want to wipe it down. Good enough. Oh, a little bit here. Okay. Anyway, I think this piece is done. Let me get a photo though of this inside and why it took so long. So there's a whole lot of badness happening here. You can see if my camera will zoom in. There we go. So all of this redness and all of this, that's all the seam line and scratch stuff that I did when I was trying to like sand it in. And so you can see there's a little bit more here, but most of the damage, and that's like a big hole / texture issue that got filled in. It kind of extends up into here. You can see some of the areas right here that are blurry. But yeah, that seam line, that's what I noticed and what I wanted to fill in. This stuff here was a surprise, especially this. I didn't expect that to pop up because it's not seam line area. So that's both a combination of, you know, me scratching this kit with the 400 grit and probably also some of the sculptor stuff. So I'm glad that we took the time to Bondo all of that down, because otherwise, you know, I would have missed it completely. And so we'll have to look here. I think this piece, I don't know what piece went with what. I feel like the other one goes with this one. They're the same shape. It's just weirdness. We'll have to figure it out. Okay, one last one, and then that will probably take us through the rest of tonight, and we'll see how far we get. I wanted to pin, don't think it was going to happen. This just ended up taking a little longer than I thought, as always. But what I think I'll do, so we have some stuff to do on Monday, is I'll finish sanding down anything else that's needed, such as this. I don't think we're gonna have time to get to her hair here, so I'll get all of that done before next Monday, and as well as her boots. So she's got some gunk on her boots still I need to sand down and make sure it's all good. And so on Monday we'll focus on pinning, and we will focus on the larger putty work repair. And so there's a couple of gaps in this kit and things that I want to pin and glue together before we even prime. And so we'll do all of that on Monday. And if we have extra time, then I will pull out another kit from my stash and just do some minor work on that. Potentially a future stream kit. It's one I also have in mind that I wanted to finish this year. But that's just kind of like filler junk stuff. So once, you know, once Monday's over, we won't be returning back to that kit. We'll just continue on with this made one. That makes sense. That way, you know, it's not like an hour of stuff and then I'm like, well, bye guys. But for now, we will finish up with this hair. Or at least as much of it as I can get through. Thank you for your patience. Generally worth it in the end, I think. Get a nice finished product. And then hopefully if we did all of this right, and filled in most of these, then the priming won't take too long. I'll also kind of have to plan ahead, I think, because certain areas of this outfit I might use 2 different primer colors. We'll see. Generally I prime everything in white, but occasionally I make exception depending on what color is going to go on it. Let's see. Hello, Penila. Am I saying that right? Penila? Do I like the Bondo Glaze Putty more than the Tamiya Putty? I tend to prefer using this Bondo Putty with the really small defects, so lots of tiny little holes. Don't know if they'll show up here, but you can kind of see there's all these tiny little holes. Bondo fills in those really well, but for larger holes, so ones that I drill out with like my drill bit, I tend to like using the Tamiya Light Curing Putty. So this is also can fill in these tiny holes, but the red is a little easier for me to see, so I prefer it for that. In terms of like larger holes or big bubbles, I definitely prefer using this. I also use this UV clear gel, and these are about equivalent, I'd say. The gel, and they don't really shrink. Either of them don't really shrink. You're also finally able to see the stream. Yay! Yeah, thank you for tuning in. We're kind of like getting to a point where we're hoping to wrap up soon, but we still got a little bit of time left. So I'm happy that you're able to catch this stream. And if you are interested in stuff that happened earlier, we were talking about Wonder Festival, and I showed my guidebook. So that will be available through the VOD after this stream. So maybe give that a look. It's actually pretty interesting, I think. So we went through the book, and I just kind of showed a couple of photos and the Wanda-chan of the year and that kind of thing. For now, though, we're just using this Bondo. And I seem to be picking figures that need these types of repairs for stream. Probably because it's easier to show you guys. It's like what I'm actually doing. With the white resin, it's like pretty tough because if you're dealing with a really super bright white resin, I tend to like to use the UV gel stuff, or glue or whatever else is clear, and that really won't show up at all for the camera. So at least this way you guys have a visual cue of what's happening and what I'm doing, and you can see all the red on the ground and know that I am sanding. You'll have to look at that. Penny's fine. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just saw. I'm reading comments double again. Yeah, I highly recommend it just because it's like fun festival lore and garage kit lore, I guess. Not advertising for myself, but anyone who's interested in kits, it is actually genuinely cool to look through those books and get a hand on them. A lot of people, I don't know, maybe there's a market. You're hoping to see some nice spoons. I do have some on my desk. I can show you one. It has a bunch of stuff on it, but let me pull a nice spoon up. Here's a semi-nice one. This one has a nice pink gradient on it. I was testing some stuff. I have decided at this point to buy bulk spoons because I'm running out of them too quick. And so I give this spoon a 2 out of 5. It's a little bit difficult. Like there's not a lot of space on this spoon, and some of them have this like greasy coating. Yeah, I saw it on IG. Yeah, my big box. Some of these spoons, they have like a greasy coating though, and so I'm like spraying them, and then the paint just kind of like congeals on it, and so I'm like, what is the deal here? Like these are for eating, and I can't even spray paint on them. So not impressed by this spoon, but I have 1,000 of them, so like I need to go through them, and some of them are better than others. Like this one is totally fine, but other ones it's just not good at all. Here's another nice spoon. This one has a pearl coating on it. You can see it's mostly like a grayish red. Yeah, I'll have to clean them. I don't really like, do I really have to clean my spoons? It's just like ridiculous. So here's a nice blue one. So this is not the ones that I bought. This one is like a nice matte spoon, and here's the ones that I bought in bulk. So you can see that they're kind of different here. But this one, like, this is a very nice spoon here. Nice, flat, smooth. You can hear it. Yeah. Anyway, lots to go through. I don't really have a choice. I can't really return 1,000 spoons. I guess I could, but I've already been using them, and so it's like, well, whatever. What I've been doing is just kind of like wiping them off real quick before I spray on top of them, and that seems to like help out. Maybe there's like mold release or something on it, but again, these are meant for eating, so I don't really want to be consuming mold release. You like the curvature of the blue one? Yeah, I wish that I had more of these blue ones. This was like a really nice one. The other one, like this one again, is 2 out of 5. It's got these lines on it. It's smaller. It's just not as cute. This one's a very nice one. Yeah. I do have more spoon over here, but I will show them off at a later time. I did a bunch of color tests earlier over the last week, and so yep. More to come. The only issue with buying bulk anything is the quality is really consistent. Yeah, amen to that, right? At least with like the small ones that I got at the supermarket, all of the quality is the same, but they just kind of throw whatever in this big box, and so some of them are fine. Like that pink one that I showed you guys, that one was like, it went on no problem, but like 2 out of 3 have issues, and I have to like wipe them down. So at that point, ugh. I'll just buy another brand next time, but I think I'll be stuck with these spoons for a while. I'm hoping I don't go through 1,000 in like a couple months, because that's pretty ridiculous. That will be a sign I need to like change my consumer habits, I think. Like invest in a white spoon that's made of glass or something, and then I'll just dip it off and practice. That would be nice, actually. Should look into that. A reusable spoon. Let's see, bulk ones, you may have had lower quality standards. They may not have been cleaned after pressing them. Yeah, I think that's the case for sure. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting. In other words, I need to give every single one of my spoons a simple green bath. And there is a lot of them. Ain't nobody got time for that, y'all. Maybe I'll invest in an ultrasonic cleaner finally, just so I can ultrasonically clean my 1,000 spoons. Yeah, that's a good idea too. I do tend to like reuse the simple green a lot, and so maybe I'll just do like a batch of them every time I clean a kit, and that way they'll be fine. That, or just like rough them up with a sandpaper real quick. That should also do the trick. Because a lot of the mold releasey stuff you can also just sand off. I know people that don't even wash their kit. They just, you know, build it as is, and then all the sanding and stuff eventually removes all the mold release. But I like to wash my kits just in case. And especially like this kit, this one was pretty shiny and greasy. Like you can still kind of see some shininess on here, but this kit has been washed twice already. So at this point, I think that's just how it is. You have a sonic cleaner, and it's great for getting your airbrush clean. Well, that's nice. Yeah, I used to have one for my work, like at my job. But I never had one for my kits or for anything like that. It is a nice tool though. It's very good at getting your airbrush clean. People wash their kits with it, so, you know, wash your kits in your ultrasonic cleaner and then put them in your giant dishwashing, air drying cover rack, you know? That's the 2021 way, I think. A lot of people doing that. Oh, you got one on Prime Day. Nice. You guys are all smarter than me. I tend to like think of this stuff and then just think of it later one day, and I'm like, I should probably get it, and then I'm not getting a sale or anything. But I try to find coupons. Getting it on Prime Day is a way better idea though. Okay. We are making progress on this. There's a lot of little spots on the outside here that this is filled in already, so this was worth it. be worried about paint stripping even if you sanded a lot of the mold release off. It's just better to clean it and be safe. Yeah, I agree. Although ideally you would have been like cleaning your kit before you even put paint on it, but yeah, I've had instances where I've missed areas because I haven't, you know, sanded it enough or cleaned it enough, and the paint just comes right up, and so there's things you gotta be careful about. I'm the same way though. I tend to wash all of my kits no matter what. I've had too many circumstances and things happen where paint just didn't act the way I wanted it to because I didn't use the primer I liked, or I didn't clean it well enough, etc. So the whole thing of this hobby is, you know, preparation. Make sure you're prepared, and then you'll really have hiccups if you do all of the prep work. If you try to cut corners, usually it ends up kicking you in the butt later. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Freak. It's like you're gonna be looking at this model, spending all this time working on it. Why not take the extra 10 minutes to like give it a bath or whatever? You are all very good modelers. You have watched my streams and have learned through others, and you now know the way. I am all proud of you. Or proud of all of you, my bad. Yep, totally agree. Okay, there's some tricky Bondo here. I'm gonna get this sanded. There we go. And down here as well in this corner. Cannon, you gonna come in at 9:55 and say you haven't learned anything? I will kick you. I know where you live on Discord. You're just here for spoon. You will have to tune in later on when we have spoons for this kit, because there's some colors that I want to test out and some stuff I want to do that should be pretty fun. There will be some pretty spoons coming out of this kit, I have a feeling. Color scheme on this kit will not be too crazy, but there is some fun stuff I want to do, and it should all coordinate really well. You're a punk, Cannon. You a little punk. But you are still well loved. Okay, I'm like strumming this like a banjo now. I'm not standing this properly. You're hungry but have no utensils. May I offer you one of my 1,000 bulk spoons? That will help you out. I can't not guarantee that they might be moldy, but I'll give you a discount. Yep. Honestly, this whole thing has just like changed my perception of cutlery, and now I just want to, like, you know, wipe it off if I go to a store or something, a restaurant, because who knows? Sketchy. I don't trust it anymore. I was gonna leave an Amazon review, like saying like 2 out of 5 moldy spoons. Yeah, not good for painting. Oh my god, this is just taking so long. Okay. Really, it's just these pieces are so curved too. So we're not working with a flat surface here. We're working on a curve, and so you really got to angle your sandpaper the right way, and it's got to be, you know, well, curved. So anything that had like a flat surface and just abrasive like that, it wouldn't really work. You'd have to like angle it the right way, because you don't want to over sand the curve down either. There we go. Also, just so many minor level scratches and the seam line. There we go. Okay. Sorry to ask again, did you fix that kit you left in simple green too long, or did it just get binned? That was a long time ago, and I'm trying to even remember what kit it was. I think it was a Yotsuba kit, and that was, I think it was the second kit I ever built. So on my website, like deep into my gallery at the very end of like the end, there's the Yotsuba, and that kit is lost to time. But I definitely remember that I built it, so I must have like tried to let it dry out or something, and then just was like, you know what, I'm a noob, I'm just gonna go for it. I don't think I threw it in the trash. I think I ended up working with it, but it was soft. Like the resin was soft, and I needed time to harden up, but I don't quite remember if it ever even hardened up. Sorry. That was like quite literally over 10 years ago that happened. So at this point I was like, well, it could be. Cannot remember. After that though, I never made that mistake again. So it was one of those things where it was just like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. Beginner mistakes, truly. That was a cute kit. I ended up buying the PVC of that figure later because she just like broke somehow, and it was an old one and I wasn't happy with the paint job, and so she's lost to time. All that exists is that photo of her. Yeah, I've been at this for a very, very long time. So a lot of the truly like beginner mistake stuff that I did is like a fuzzy memory at this point. I remember they happened, but it's like I don't remember what kit it was. I just remember that I left it for 3 days. And I think it was undiluted simple green as well, and so that was probably why. So these days I generally dilute my simple green, and it's not really a ratio or anything that I use. I just dump a bunch of simple green and then throw it in some water, and then it's fine. But there's a lot of options these days too, you know, ultrasonic cleaner, resin washes, etc. A lot of options compared to back then where it's like your regular old household cleaner. But it just kind of stuck with me, and I actually like using that product because I use it around the house too. So as long as you have something with a degreaser, like your cleaner will be fine, because we gotta remove all that mold release. Okay, just gonna try to get, well, let's try to wrap up this piece. So I'll go until I wrap up this piece, and then I gotta head out, but that way we at least don't have to work on these hairs anymore. Let's see, I've been interested in kits for a long time, but I've only had the time and money recently to work on them. Yeah, I can totally relate to that. It's like either you have money and no time, or lots of time and no money. And right now I have lots of time and no money, so I have plenty of time to work on what's in my closet and whatnot. But yeah, even, you know, even if you're just starting out, you don't have to buy all the crazy expensive stuff. I know I say this like a million times, but I really mean it, because I started building kits in college and I had nothing. I was so poor. Like, I was just working on a small lab tech salary. And yeah, still had some fun times. Just didn't have all the, you know, airbrush and everything and all the cool tools that a lot of people have now. You don't need that stuff if you're just starting out. It can be tempting, but it's not needed. Okay, let me grab this. Yep, pretty much canon. See what I mean? Yeah. Either or. Hope you get your kits primed soon. That's always a fun stage too, because you're like so close to being ready to paint. Then again, hopefully you have like a good kit, because what you want is like you prime it and then it's just like, you know, I'm ready to paint. Not like you prime it and then you go, oh god, I have to spend another 15 hours fixing everything. Okay, sanding around the tendril here. Okay. Going through a lot of this recently. Oh man, there's something on this melamine sponge. It's like not pleasant. Throw that away. It's like an oil or something. I don't know how it got on there. I'll have this larger. But yeah, Quiliana, if you ever have any questions, feel free to drop them here. I'm always happy to answer no matter what. So, to my best of my ability. Oops. Did it touch your bulk spoon collection at any point? My sponge? No. Thankfully, that is safe. My spoon collection is safe and off to the side. I honestly don't even know where to put it. I have a closet I could put them in, and so I have like this little box that I put all my spoons in, and so I'm thinking I'll just take them out and then as needed. But now that I have so many, I will be able to start my spoon wall, so that's always a good thing. Let's see, there's a new kit builder, Takudo, and she has a ton of resources just feeding connections. Oh man, yeah, connections and networking is like a big thing for sure. Especially these days, I would guess. Everything is connected via Twitter, so you gotta be hot on that and good at it, and talking to people and liking and retweeting stuff, and that's, sadly, I am very lacking in that. So if you guys are looking to me for daily Twitter updates, I'm sorry. It's social media is like one of those things where it's like I'm trying. I'm not a very person that shares stuff easily, so ironically I'm on Twitch, but you know, I'm not very good at using social media for promo. Not very good at like retweeting my own stuff, etc., or tweeting other people all the time. I'm trying to get better. And Instagram, forget it. I could honestly rant about Insta right now because I think they really messed up the algorithm, and my engagement is so down on that website or on the app. It really took a nosedive, and I'm not sure why. I think it's algorithm driven, but it's like unexplainable. I don't know how to get better at it. I read that they are focusing now on people's reels. So like using reels is the way to get the engagement, but I don't even know how to do that. Or I thought it was stories, but it, like a reel is something different. I just sound old here, so I'm sorry. Let's see, I'm content with my current tools for my skill level. I'm sure having a free airbrush in studio must be nice. Yeah, no kidding, right? Like I wish I want to be sponsored. New Type, sponsor me. I want that paint. I want to do spoon reviews, y'all. I started following a guy on YouTube who basically just does like spoon reviews, and he, excuse me, works for like a shop or something, and so they give him all this new paint. And I don't really follow people, but that was right up my alley. Because I like seeing what these products look like in, you know, under video conditions and in real life, and so there's not a lot of content out there for spoons and just colors, so. You follow a spoon guy too? What spoon guy do you follow? Maybe we follow the same spoon guy. There seemed to be a lot, and then I stumbled into like the Japanese side of it, and so like, you know, a lot of the videos are given to me in English, but this was like a spoon guy in Japanese, and he also builds like cars, little cars, so Oh, the Reels are the Instagram way of competing with TikTok. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because Insta's new update thing was like, we're basically shifting our entire focus into Reels, and we want to compete. It's just like, why? Like, nobody I know that uses Instagram is using it to like compete with TikTok. It doesn't make any sense. That's the guy, Freak. Yeah, I found him too, and I was like, you know what? This guy makes pretty good spoon videos. Yeah, I followed him like 2 days ago. Yeah, I liked his like his voice is nice, and I like his lighting and his booth. I feel like it's generally pretty good. Cause some of those spoon videos are like hella choppy, like really dark, and I'm like, what? Why are you even showing me this? Like, I can't see the spoon at all. Stupid. But yeah, his videos are pretty good. Yeah, he's very much like sponsored, I think, sometimes. Nothing against it or anything. I think he works for a shop or something, and so they just like give him spoons and stuff to review, or paints to review. But yeah, his content's pretty decent. Yep, spoon life. I mean, really though, like, there is, you know, a very small group of people, but it's looking for certain paint types and stuff, and it's nice to have that option to like see it pop up and not necessarily under like a photograph. I think that a spoon shows up better in a video than a photograph, because you can manipulate lighting and stuff, and the color can be really different. In video, like, the same can be said of that, but if you're moving it around, I feel like you get a sense of what the color is like better. Yeah, I like that too, Mr. Freak. And another thing I really liked, and part of the reason I followed this guy, was because he takes one like paint bottle and he also shows you what it looks like under a black primer, a gray primer, or a white primer. And that's super important. Colors can look so different depending on the primer type that you use, and it can be quite shocking actually, the different colors that you can get from your primer undercoat. And so I really appreciated him like doing the Mr. Metal stuff, and or like the metals and other colors, and showing them under those different primer bases. That's exactly what I needed, and that's why I followed him. So yeah, it looks like his content's pretty consistent too. He actually upsold me. So there was like a paint brand that he reviewed. I don't know if it was recently, but I was like, you know what? I'll try that out. Like, the spoon came out really nice and the color was really nice, and so we'll see. We'll see. Okay, what is this? Oh, is this your metal, or the metal one you were just talking about? Let me open this up. Oh, just his channel. Yeah, I watched, wow, yeah, 4 days ago. He has so many. Oh my god. You know what? You know how some people put on hololivers? Mine's just gonna be spoons. Just straight up this guy. Random spoon videos are just gonna fill my feed. Oh yeah, Alclad, they're a pretty good line too. I have a couple of Alclads, and I was actually Googling some Alclads last night, or maybe it was 2 nights ago, because I need to find a specific metal color, and Alclad does pretty nice metals, and so I have a couple of them. I have a steel. I use their pale gold a lot. I like that one. The thing is about them, you can't really steal them though. Like, once they're on, that's it. If you try to gloss it over or etc., it's just gonna get dulled. So really, the Alclad will be the last thing you want to put on. Oh man. Oh my god, I didn't even think about buying my paint off of eBay. That's a new territory that I need to explore. I'm sure you could get some really good deals depending on, you know, how much is left, how old the bottle is, etc. Anyway, wrapping up this, I'm kind of working on the end of the twin tail nub here. There's just a tiny bit left. Let's see, talking about Hololive, there's a PVC figure of one of the girls coming out soon. Hope the quality is as good as the prototype. There's a lot of them coming out with a lot of girls, so I think it depends on your manufacturer you're talking about. you're dealing with like a pop-up parade, generally pretty decent, like a little bit better than prize figure quality, I think, for the prize, or the price, sorry, not prize. There's one of Corone, that's her name, Corone, that's coming out, and I'm super iffy on that one. The manufacturer doesn't have a good rep. I don't have the figure off the top of my head, but I am iffy about that one. Hard to find stores online that carry Gaia Notes paint that's in stock and not a long shipping time. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's like the ones I need are always out of stock now, and even like seal models out of stock, and it takes forever to get in. And so at this point my shelves are filling up with Mr. Hobby because I don't really quite have as much access to Gaia Notes stuff, and so I try to reserve the Gaia Notes stuff ahead of time and make sure I have a good healthy backlog of it in case shortages like this happen. But Mr. Hobby's pretty decent. There's a bunch of competing brands out now too, so Gaia Notes is not the be all end all, but they are one of my favorite manufacturers. So let's see. I feel like pre-painted figures have been getting more expensive. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm thinking of. I wouldn't order it just because apparently this manufacturer has not been the greatest so far. I'm skeptical about it, but you know, a lot of the Hololive stuff also shoots up in the aftermarket really quickly, so you know, take that as you will. And yeah, figures are definitely getting more expensive. I've basically been priced out of the hobby at this point, not even gonna lie. You know, we have regular figures costing, you know, 300 plus, and then you get, now there's like these quote-unquote luxury lines. So if you guys are familiar with Etrian, they're a new manufacturer that's making like all these crazy Rem and Rams and Asanas and all that, and their stuff's like 500 plus. With shipping it ends up being like 700, so it's like legit as much as a regular giant pre-painted resin, and I don't know about that. I would rather just paint my own kits. I'm like here in my corner. Here I build okay, I paint okay. I'm just gonna paint my own stuff and have it look just as decent now. And yeah, my Mr. Hobby collection is growing pretty quickly at this point. They're also like pretty decently priced here in the US, and so you know, a lot of Gundam distributors sell Mr. Hobby and Mr. Krayos Color, you know, so you can get them for a pretty decent price. Anyway, I think that pretty much sums this up tonight, guys. Let me get, well, I don't know if a photo is needed. Let me get this area real quick too. Just about done with this twin tail here. There we go. Oh, and right here. Let me wipe this off. Oh, that was a hole. Okay. Let's see. Photo. Penny says there's an online store spray gunner in your town. Oh, that's so lucky. I've looked at that store before. I don't even remember though if they were in the US and if they were able to ship. I just can't remember. But they have popped up and their prices looked really good. So if they're local for you, hell, you're really lucky. Alright, so here's what we're looking at. You can see there was a bunch of gunk here we sanded down. There's a bunch of seam lines underneath here. So all of this secret stuff, all of that had to fill in. They're in Florida. Oh, I'll have to look again and see if they ship like throughout the US. Interesting. Here's a couple more. So all of this is again that seam line that we sanded all the way here, and there's a bunch of stuff here. What even is that? I didn't even notice that. Oh yeah, that's all stuff I filled in too. So just tiny holes and other miscellaneous stuff. Spray gunner's good, and you got your paints from them. I'll have to look at them again then. They sometimes pop up in my like search results, sometimes don't. So how is their shipping? That's my other question. Is it pretty expensive? Is it ground, etc.? You might get your go-to. Okay, I'll have to check them out then. If multiple people here are using them, that's interesting because they always like popped up on my stuff, but I never like ever had an account with them. And I've gone through a couple of US stores at this point for paints. I'd be willing to give them a try if they have some good, you know, shipping time and a healthy stock. Okay. They're quick. Okay, I'll check them out then. Yeah, always willing to buy more paint. Check out different manufacturers and suppliers, so. All right, with that in mind, guys, we are gonna wrap up tonight. We basically did nothing but sand for like 2 hours, so my apologies for those of you who are trying to stick around and wait for pinning. This took a lot longer than I would have liked just because these hair strands are the most complex, I think, out of all of this kit besides, you know, the end tips here, or sorry, the, I guess, torn fabric here. I was trying to pick this up and then the magnets came apart. So yeah, there's a lot of action happening here in terms of what it's gonna look like, and so I will get all of this sanded. I'll wrap up the head and these boots here, and then on Monday we will just dive straight into wrapping up the pinning and the magnetizing. We got to do all of that, and we will be using some 2-part putty. I intend to do that probably here. There's a gap that I'd like to fill, that I should be able to fill, and then her hair, we will be pinning this together and gluing it and then filling in the gap. And so as you can see, these pieces don't fit together right now. Whoops, so I drop it again. There's a little line, and so we're gonna fix that right away rather than do it after painting. I think, yeah, it's something like this. So we'll have to figure it out. But this was fun. Next stream will be on Monday, the 19th. Thank you so much, you guys. Yeah, I hope you can make it next time. It will be the same time at 8 p.m. We'll not have any computer issues, hopefully. So hope you guys can make it. Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you all have a good rest of the night. Talk to you later. Bye bye.